PlayStation 5. And by massive amounts, I mean not really a lot of people. And they announced that the December season is the last season they were ever going to do for this game. Now, initially, this game looked like a free-to-play title, but actually, if you didn't own PlayStation Plus, you had to pay $40 for this game. And honestly, the only hype I ever saw was like some video game outlets kind of hyping up this game, but I never this or create any content around this, and it seems like most people wouldn't even admit at gunpoint that they hadn't played this game. Honestly, I joked and said it was a Splatoon clone, and for a lot of it is, but they actually tried to do a little bit different with this game as well. Much like Splatoon covered the battlefield with foam instead of paint, and I think they gave the characters like different abilities. I don't know, does Splatoon have different abilities too? I feel like it does. I don't know, I've only played the Splatoon 1 beta, so I'm not very well versed on Splatoon, but even as someone who's kind of a Splatoon hater, I've got to say, why play home serves if you can just play Splatoon? Even to me, Splatoon looks better. After the game was out for a couple months, releasing in February of 2024, roughly a year ago, it seemed like they were struggling with the player numbers because they made the bold decision to revive their player count by making the game play in October. And they also made previous season passes available again so that players could buy them and unlock the stuff that they missed. Now, you could say this is a pretty pro-consumer move, but it just kind of seems like they're trying to cash out and sell a previous season pass to anyone who's willing to buy it. This change in business model must have not done anything for the game, and then they would announce that the game's development is coming to an end and there won't be any more seasonal updates. Now, for now, this game is just gonna be online and just be this automated state, but the question has to be asked on the servers.
Okay, switching gears, people have been waiting for the Elder Scrolls 6. That way. However, after 9 years since the first launch of Elder Scrolls V Skyrim to 2020, another Elder Scrolls game would finally release. Except that, wasn't Elder Scrolls 6, we're still waiting on that one, but instead, the Elder Scrolls Blades, part of Bethesda's big push for mobile gaming. The Elder Scrolls Blade was supposed to be the in-between Elder Scrolls experience that would pull people over. Well, I guess one day, if ever, Elder Scrolls 6 actually comes out. I feel like, guys, 2029 will be our year. How old will you be then? Now, the game did have some early access time periods back in 2019, so the length of the game was slightly longer than, the initial 2020 one. But this game stopped being just a mobile game when it finally did release on Nintendo Switch. So, Switch players were racing this game. Blades also had a lot of mixed reviews, and I'm not going to talk too bad about it because despite the fact that I downloaded this on my Switch, on my phone, and I always had intentions to play the game, I never could just bring myself to be like, I'm going to finally bite the bullet and play Elder Scrolls Blades, and the game didn't review very well early on, maybe subconsciously, that was influencing my choice to not play the game, because I was like, do I really want this to be disappointed? That's really besides the fact, though, because Elder Scrolls Blades has essentially been abandonware for years. There hasn't been a meaningful update in a very long time. Well, Elder Scrolls Blades seems like the big spin-off game people think about. There was another spin-off game that was even less successful than Elder Scrolls Blades that is actually officially getting the plug pulled on. You see, right before the big announcement of Elder Scrolls Blades, the Elder Scrolls Legends released. And this was a
Blue?
card game. Something to maybe compete with the likes of Hearthstone. The game never really garnered much popularity, but it's still been available to play. However, Bethesda actually ended support for the game all the way back in 2019, meaning the game just kind of floated by for free for like 5 years without anybody even thinking about it. However, at the very end of January 2025, Elder Scrolls Legends was taken offline officially. Now, to be fair, this wasn't just a mobile exclusive. It was also on Windows and Mac OS, but the game's now straight up gone. You can't download it again. So back to Elder Scrolls Blades, though, I have a strong suspicion that this game will also follow suit at some point down the road. Elder Scrolls Blades obviously to let you play the game because they want to also be able to monetize your game. I just have this feeling that in 1 or 2 more years, Blades is going to officially strike the dust as well. Just a couple of weeks ago, EA announced that a lot of their games are having their servers shut down, so all online play effectively won't be possible anymore. Rory McIlroy?
I think it's nice.
Let's just say PGA Tour.
Yeah, it's like PGA Tour with the other guys, PGA Tour with Rory.
It's like, oh, Rory, personally. My boy Rory's Core game shutting down chambers. And this is going to be like an early part of the video. I think this is going to be a later part of the video. Our boy Rory, his PGA game is getting shut down January 16th, and that's actually one of 2 different games available up there in total where you can even play like a PGA golf game online. So that's a pretty big loss. The Simpsons Tapped Out got shut down last month. Blood and Glory Immortals got shut down last month. Contract Killer Sniper got shut down last month. Deer Hunter Classic, Dino Hunter Desert Shores, both of those got shut down. Energy Warriors 4, Frontline Commando 2, Frontline Commando 2, they're all gone. UFC 3 shut down. UFC is shut down. Or, sorry, it is shutting down in football 14 shutting down, which is a weird one to me because this was the last NCAA game that you could play before they did the whole long hiatus for college football, and then they came back with like the new college football game. So this is like the last thing that you could play and still get that like NCAA classic experience. And they're shutting down online services, which is a shame because there's still people that play that game. And then Madden NFL 21 shutting down. So yeah, crazy. Crazy EA is just like, you know, doing a quick little Thanos snap instead of looking forward to finally getting to play when it would come to the West that I never ended up getting to play because the game was canceled.
No.
Protocol looked interesting. It was like an anime MMO type game. Visuals were really cool. So even though I'm not the biggest MMO player, I thought, hey, I'll give this game a go because when I look at it, it's like the anime type, you know, it's not cool. Unfortunately for me and anyone else who's interested in this game, the game didn't do very well when they did their first initial launch exclusively in Japan. And this is a Bandai Namco game, so it's like a big publisher. The player base fell off really quickly, and the ballpark estimated time when the game was supposedly supposed to come to the West and globally even just kept getting kind of pushed back. They never really were clear on when the game was supposed to come out. And then while this game was supposed to be published by Amazon in the West, which was like a big deal because Amazon, they're getting into gaming or something, that deal fell through also. And earlier it was announced that Blue Protocol would be ending its Japanese service and the Western global release of the game would be canceled. This one was pretty disappointing. Before the cancellation, I was like, I really want to play this game. I've been trying to study Japanese for a bit. Maybe I could figure out playing the Japanese version of the game for VPN. And I did. I got the installer figured out. I got the installer so we could play together. There's 2 issues. The first one was I can't read Japanese well enough to play an entire MMO. The second issue was that it turned out the game was also banning people who were using VPNs.
Oh,
which kind of just compounded on top of Blue Protocol not necessarily having the best reputation of a game, or at least not having like a non-controversial reputation. Because there was like a lot of people who just wanted to play the game, they didn't care if language barriers getting banned. But maybe they were doing it to try to stop the bad press of the game reaching the lost, which would happen to them. But guess what? Not all is lost, because while it is weird that a multi-million-dollar game like Blue Protocol randomly gets shut down with no plans to continue, it seems like something is in the works, because as it turns out, a spin-off game is still coming out. The universe lives on, called Star Residence. Now, Star Residence seems like an asset flip. It looks like their MMO didn't work, and they want us to utilize the success of their wait for this MMO, and they're doing a gacha-style game that is in China. So Bandai might still make money, or it will fail again, or it will fail again a second time. I still would like to get experience for a couple of minutes, even if I don't end up liking it, just because the art style looks cool. I want to check that part out. But it is good. Now, just so I'm not spreading totally fake news, we don't know for certain we do know that they're going to be doing some stuff in China very soon. Beta testing is coming, they're doing recruitment for it. They have this whole so it's kind of cool. There's no word as to whether or not this game will ever actually get a global launch, which is what I'm holding for this.
Or we download the Chinese version just for it to get shut down again.
Or we download the Chinese version and get banned. Crazy VPN.
Do we know yet any details? Because this used to be like a PC console MMO, right? But coming to China, I feel like it's definitely a mobile game, no?
It is is also coming to Android and iOS. So definitely going to gotcha route, I think. Even if we can't it's going to gotcha route.
You remember when they announced Resident Evil Village, and they also announced a multiplayer spin-off called Resident Evil Rebirth, and everybody was like, what?
I think the whole like free being Resident Evil is messing with your head already because you said remakes.
Oh, dude, it's 2D. It's 2D. It's taking over. They announced this game in Village, and then it didn't come out with Village. They delayed it by more than a year, and then finally launched in 2022. And then Resident Evil Rebirth was out there for the world to see. You look at the Steam numbers, which I think those are the numbers we can go off. Barely anyone was interested in this, and barely anyone played this. And the fact that I don't think it was free to play either, and it was a $20 price tag to make this like an easy pass for most people.
But dude, was the game fun?
No, it was not.
This is supposed to like compete with Dead by Daylight, right?
Right. I mean, this was their attempt to, get a Resident Evil multiplayer going, so they could maybe support it, maybe even more. I mean, they tried Resident Evil multiplayer games that has their own stuff. I don't know if it's just like the latest one they did. Actually, it's a good because they did it. Instead of the game push, just the game push.
Seen it listed there. Is it on Xbox?
This is a PlayStation 4, Windows, and Xbox One title.
Wait, what year did this game come out?
2022.
That doesn't make sense.
I guess because of the delays, the development delays. I don't know. It's, what it's got announced as. I mean, obviously, it's backwards compatible with both consoles.
I do have to say, I feel bad for the four people who probably really did like the game. I think the Resident Evil franchise deserves better.
Not a game that came up in conversation for individuals, but I think the 13th game, and I was like, oh, didn't this game shut down like 5 years ago? And I was kind of right, but I was kind of wrong, because they did lose the license to the game in 2020 and shut it down in 2020, but peer-to-peer matchmaking was still available. Peer-to-peer matchmaking was only available for people who had owned the game previously to being delisted. That came to an end at the end of December of last year, and now you can only access like the offline listing date.
I'm sure we find a discs.
It did come out.
I mean, if you got a Battleborn disc, there has to be a Battle disc.
I just want to say Battleborn is, well, actually, when did Battleborn come out? I was going to say Battleborn is from a very different time.
2016?
Yeah, these games actually launched 1 year at a time only. Wait,
When did Battleborn?
I did 2017.
Wow, dude, that's 1 year apart, like you said.
Yeah. Oh, it's like I just looked it up.
Well, I think we have to talk about Elephant in the Room, the game that of course had this time, which obviously is like the center of everyone wanting to be in a game that didn't make it long. Maybe like 2 weeks overall. We've talked about Comic Book in depth in multiple videos about like games that lost company with no money, games, disaster games. We don't need to talk about Comic Book forever, but what do you want to give them a quick rundown for the really
Yeah, I mean, Concord was a PlayStation exclusive hero shooter that launched summer last year, and like I said, it was like 2 weeks before being shut down. This was developed by Firewalk Studio, which I think is the studio that Sony put in place to make like hero shooter. With the shutdown of the game, they actually just ended up closing the studio overall. So not only the game got shut down, the whole studio also got shut down.
And mind you, this is a game in the hero shooter genre that's already super oversaturated that was charging a retail price. Like, it wasn't a free-to-play game like Overwatch that you just try out or Marvel Rivals type thing. This was like, hey, buy this game and then play it, and nobody bought it.
Actually, if you're on the good stuff, it's kind of like a rarity.
Yeah, you just can't play it.
You can play it, but you can just play it. Someone sent me a copy of Concord. I couldn't get it.
I do also just want to point out that the Concord was really goofy, but it's on Go, and it's called what Concord had for going for it. So we're on the topic of like I think you existed. There was a whole game called The Seek that was some underground place. It was a shooter game, probably kind of like Destiny or Warframe or something like that.
And first to second.
Yeah, maybe it's like the first the last December when you would do RPG elements, shooting, and you sort of like them. It's a crazy game concept. So Seek was this game. It existed. It peaked at like 80,000 players briefly on Steam, and then the numbers fell off incredibly quickly. The game was retired in September of 2024. So it didn't fall off in pretty much 1 year. We've seen this type of thing before in service games. Another one that we did for the Japanese studio was the World Reachman Babylon Falls. That game also shut down the studio after its launch.
Yeah, I remember. I feel like the game was like 50 players or something. It was like 50.
It looks like it peaked at 11 players. Not quite Concord levels in that, but it was up there.
Yeah, we had on Concord, I guess.
Did we see them in Concord? I think it was.
Concord was PlayStation, like, the last one was really fun.
Yeah, dude. See, Concord is multi-platform revolution. It's Steam really bad.
It's like 97, yeah. Also, there's one player in the last 24 hours.
Only games in the last 24 hours named Concord, dude. Concord, the oversaturated hero shooter area, and a lot of we did a video on, I think it was like things that matters, and I remember I talked briefly about Paladins, about Paladins had a good run overall. It was a hero shooter game, a lot like Overwatch. It came out, I think, around the same time as Overwatch, but definitely didn't catch on like Overwatch. It always felt like the peak cousin of Overwatch.
I don't know. I really liked it, and I was like, ooh, this game is,
I've never played a hero shooter before. I didn't play Overwatch for years later. And I was just a Paladins thing. I had fun with it, but I think the comment that Paladins player base was kind of falling in like updates them so much. Something people disagree with me, like crazy. Nightmare Studios, the game developer studio responsible for Paladins, announced that Paladins was not going to be seeing any future updates and support will be ending. We will still continue to play the game. So the game does have like 1 point over a lot of the games we talked about, but at the same time, Paladins is an organization. Also, Perez is responsible for a couple of other games that are also getting their support officially ended. Not that a lot of people out there were like, oh yeah, I just can't wait for the new Realm update to come out. I think I remember we talked about Realm Royale way back in the past, and I think the official statement from Congress was that there was like one person dedicated to updating Realm Royale. You still have a person in charge of updating that game. And it was like a long time to updates, but I don't know how it was. But Realm Royale also getting killed off officially, being told that there's not going to be updates, so don't expect anything. I think the one that was a little more surprising, maybe unsurprising, is Smite. Obviously the most popular of the three, but now with Smite 2 being out, I guess it was probably expected that Smite's support would get there as well. So there's 3 games, all just like a quick swoop, having their future kind of just being executed right there.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to say, Smite 1 started development in like 2010 or 11. I remember playing the beta like 13 years ago or something crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of my friends got into the beta in 2013 or 14, maybe 2014.
They keep getting a long run, so like, give a little shout out to that.
Is Smite 2 good?
It's okay, yeah. I played it for like 1 or 2 days. It was pretty fine, but it's still an alpha, so we'll see what the full rest of it. They'll lose final player base. I think they'll just migrate to the Smite.
So after the day before release, briefly, everyone was like, "What is this game?" And then it hilariously shut down shortly after. I thought we would never
What do you want?
talk about the day before again.
No, I'm not giving you this.
Apparently,
I'm not done
there
playing.
was some rumblings in the background of the day before,
Not done.
possibly having something going on. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, so the same studio developed like a Christmas prop hunt game, right? That was like the first game, and then they did the day before. And after they announced that the studio is shutting down, everything is going dark after the day before scam or whatever you want to call it, right? They did come back and say they're working on a new game, and it looks like it's gonna be like another prop hunt game, but this time like a horror prop hunt game. And they've been fighting with news outlets on Twitter, like calling them out for saying that they scam people, and then they've made this big statement how they're all about transparency now.
How did the studio get back? Did they shut the studio down? How are they back?
I mean, I guess there's not that many people working at the studio, right? So, like, the guy who probably founded the studio was like, God damn it, I'm gonna restart
Actually
this.
getting
from
on the
my
bed.
basement or something."
He
Don't
turned his
be
computer
messing
back
with the
on.
bed.
He turned it off for a while. So we're not going to be seeing the day before 2, right?
I don't think it's gonna be the day before, too, unless, this Prop Hunt game becomes massively successful and, reignites their passion to bring back the day before.
Hopefully.
Day before was such a weird thing. A Lamborghini through a zombie world, and then that was just like not in the game.
Look what they took from us, what they stole from us. Lamborghini and a zombie world. On top of all of these games that are announced that they're getting shut down, there were still other gaming projects full on abandoned. Matter of fact, PlayStation had a lot of things in the works that had the plugs pulled on them before we actually would ever get to see the release for them. And while we're not going to do a full-on deep dive into every single game that was canceled like we've done in the past, there are some that we haven't really talked about, so this is our chance to talk about them. Project Payback probably was one of the biggest ones that people at least thought that the game could have had some potential, which it would have been a Destiny spin-off game in the third person where you go and explore a big open world and you do puzzles with your friends and shoot stuff. This project was in development for a couple of years, but ultimately ended up getting the plug pulled alongside Bungie getting some pretty big layoffs last year. There was a lot of speculation about what the game even was for a while. Some people thought it was Destiny 3, but Destiny 3 apparently has never been in development, at least at the time of Payback shutting down. It could be in development now, we don't know. And I guess part of it was Bungie shifting people around, laying people off, and trying to get Marathon out the door, which is officially announced. Yeah, I don't know what this game would have been like. It's cited to have been something similar to Warframe or Genshin Impact, but those like very different games, right? So I don't know what the game would have been like, but I don't know. Anything new for Bungie would have been exciting, I think, at least for a while. But
Are we even getting Marathon still?
I don't know. It is weird. I mean, Bungie has had a lot of games that they have, in recent years specifically, have had in development at some point just for the game to not come out. Like Matter was another game. It was supposed to apparently come out in 2025, but it seems like the game was canceled probably in 2020. Then maybe they tried to uncancel it, but then they recanceled it like 3 years ago. There's just like some concept art and like a logo, and that's about it. But who knows what that game would have been like? I'm looking at this one picture of a concept art that has a boat and like a flying boat, and then a bigger boat.
A boat and a flying boat.
And I don't know what I'm looking at. But who knows? It could have been cool. I don't know.
The boat's got you real hyped, I think.
I mean, you tell me then what you're looking at in the picture.
Okay, go. Dude, is this one of those, like, when you go to, like, a shrink and they show you, like, the picture, like, what do you see here?
What do you see here?
Oh, yeah. That's a lot of boats.
Right. And then they had another concept art that just kind of looks like that one area from the Forsaken DLC in Destiny 2.
A little less, rotten. A little more happy. Where's the boats?
I don't know, dude.
I thought the game was about boats. We talked about Bungie, and, everybody knows Bungie got bought by Sony recently. After they got acquired by Sony actually put them to work in helping the other studios. And one of the projects that Bungie was supposed to look at was the Last of Us Online, which was supposed to be a Last of Us standalone multiplayer. Last of Us 1 had multiplayer, right? So I guess they wanted to make a standalone multiplayer, see if it was successful. But when Bungie actually started playing it, they were like, this is not fun. Naughty Dog must have realized too, because they announced that they're only going to work on single-player games going forward.
So, Bungie was brought in just to, test the game out and give feedback?
Yeah.
And they were just like, nah.
The ambitions for this would have been too big, and development, would have costed too much. So, they obviously announced that Intergalactic game recently at the Game Awards, remember? With, the lady that everybody was upset about or something. Then I think we'll get Last of Us 3 in the future, probably, right? They're not going to stop making Last of Us games. So
that's not it either when it comes to PlayStation online games that were canceled. Everything's an online service now. But apparently God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn had some spin-offs planned for online service type games. Horizon's being maybe an MMO type multiplayer thing. Both of those also ended up getting scrapped and canceled. So, I mean, I hate for games to get canceled, but also, why were there so many online live service games in production for a while? I don't know. I mean, I know why, but I don't want to know why. I don't want to admit why. That's why. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean, because the ones that released are Concord. So
okay, let me ask you a question. What game do you think is next on the chopping block to get shut down? And you can't steal
the two that you know I'm going to say because I put it in that line.
Did I actually forgot the ones you were gonna say? Let me think about it.
If you had to pick two games that you're like, they aren't going to last. They are done. They are going to be in a future video. What do you think of it? Let me tell you mine. So I think Roller Champions, that Ubisoft game where you ride the roller skates around, I think they've already abandoned the game, but I don't think that game will continue to have its service live, especially, I think it was a Ubisoft game, right? So Ubisoft's going to be trying to like save some money with the situations going down at Ubisoft. They got to make up that major loss that was Skull and Bones. So I feel like Roller Champions is at risk. And then the other game, Hawked, it's a like free extraction shooter game. They really try to like lean into like the Fortnite aesthetic, I think. And it was on Xbox. It was like top of the Xbox charts even on the free-to-play section. But you and I finally went and played it. There is no one playing that game. We both loaded in before we matched it together. Like before we even played, we loaded into like the hub world. And it put us in the same hub world because there's no one else playing. I mean, we are probably in the same like connected to the same server geographically, right? But in a lot of big games, if they, they have a little hub world where they put players, usually there's multiple instances of it. But not this game. There was us and one other person playing in the hub world, and then we went and played the game. We fought some stuff. It was, I mean, there was like some depth to it, but it's an extraction shooter. I don't know. It was just weird. I don't see that game sticking around very long.
We didn't have any PvP interactions, right?
I think we had bots. We ran into like bot play. Like they looked like players, but they weren't real people.
Yeah, so like we didn't even get to experience half the game because we just like played against bots and mobs. It's kind of.
It was a somewhat interesting concept. I just wish it was like expanded on, or I don't even know. I like the puzzle solving, but like the rest of the game wasn't there. Like it didn't feel connected. It felt weird.
Now, after thinking about my answer for this a little bit, I think Home Stars probably gonna have its service shut down soon. After they ended support, and then I think also that Sandstorm Intensity game we played.
Yeah, our friend Cheeseburger plays that still. Like every day.
Really, every day?
Every single day he plays that. He posts LFG on Xbox.
Damn, I guess he'll be sad because
Because he's the only person playing.
also last year or the year prior, the studio got sold to like that big group. Like what is it called? Like you remember the
Racer?
Yeah, and they shut down the studio. So obviously, there hasn't been any movement and updates. I think that game might be in trouble in the future as well.
I like how one of the last people playing the game's name is Cheeseburger. Like that should be like something put into question in itself.
Call sign Cheeseburger.
Also, Tower of Fantasy, I could see that getting shut down. I think that there was so much money sunk into that game, and I don't think it sees much of a large player base or profit nowadays. And they are definitely like trying to like pivot into the sexy anime character genre, which would be a saving grace because that could make money. But yeah, I don't know. That game also maybe at least at risk.
Could at-risk games
be at-risk games? Dude, that would have been a crazy title for this video. But some of them already are gone.
You might be onto something too, because I googled Tower of Fantasy, and the second video that it shows is White Hansen is abandoning Tower of Fantasy.
There it is. I feel pretty good about this list. How do you feel?
Pretty good. I mean, we like to do more shoutouts this year. We might have to redo this video every year from now on out.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely was a lot since we did our other video on similar things. So if you guys want to check out our video where we talked about like Redfall, Anthem, if there was any like high-profile game that didn't make it in this video, probably in that one. And it's a good video. It follows a similar format. So check that out.
Also, if people remind us in the comments, we can go to the next video.
Huge shout out to YouTube members for making these types of videos possible. And make sure you guys subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more stuff like this. And shout out to Rage for sponsoring this video. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon with another video. Over the years, there have been incredible games that come as a third entry in a game series, whether it's the end of a story, or a game that about games like Halo 3, Mass Effect 3, heck, even Saints Row 3 was.
Ever since it started out in the parks and block parties, freestyling has always been a key aspect of hip-hop culture. But as it morphed from the days where MCs were trading bars for fun, it became a highly pressurized scenario. Suddenly, every battle was recorded, while the radio freestyle became a proving ground for artists to let the world know that they were a rapper on the rise. Of course, not everyone sees it as a show of prowess. Some MCs have made a mockery of the whole thing.
Back when I see you. Water, food, water. I'ma go and tell my daughter. You don't believe me? I'm a mother. Real on the track.